We told you about a 4-year-old Houston boy who died from dry drowning just days after swimming at the lake. It is a tragedy doctors say can be prevented if the proper steps are taken. KVUE's Nicole Rosales joins us from the newsroom. Nicole, I know you spoke to Dell Children's emergency director about the signs to look for. A lot of parents may not know these.
You're absolutely right, and that's why we wanted to shine a light on this. There are about 10 deaths every day related to drowning in the U.S., and 1 out of 5 is a child. Dry drowning may not be as common, but it's just as important to understand because the symptoms typically show up long after your child steps out of the water.
For some, hitting the water during summer break is a must-do. And whether it's the local pool or lake, child safety is number one.
That's in the forefront of my mind. And so both of my kids started to learn to swim at about 6 months.
Dr. Eric Higginbotham is the emergency department director at Dell Children's Medical Center. The father of 2 says parents not only have to watch their children while in the water, but once they get out.
Kids will have a drowning event, so they're underwater, submerged, taking a breath of air. And then what happens is instead of big inflated lungs, these little air pockets start to sort of collapse down.
It was this week when a 4-year-old boy died from dry drowning. What's deceiving is when the child steps out, they're fine. That's because it takes 6 hours or more to develop any serious symptoms.
We can never tell who really had the event and who didn't, and that's why we watch all of those kids for that amount of time.
The most common signs include coughing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, and sudden changes in behavior. If they go untreated, it can lead to death.
So it's just so preventable, and that's what's heartbreaking about it.
Dr. Higginbotham says eliminate distractions like talking on the phone or drinking. Parents need to keep a close eye on their child because the signs may not always be obvious.
And so you don't want that period of time that could be 2 or 3 minutes where you're not paying attention and that child's underwater.
Those few minutes that count the most.
Now, one other important thing the doctor mentioned, the younger they are, the more they need to be in arm's reach. And it seems simple, but it could be your best prevention. Again, dry drowning deaths are rare, only 1 to 2% of all drowning cases. In the newsroom, Nicole Rosales, KVUE News.